We'd appreciate it if anyone hearing this broadcast would
On a
communicate
better
with us.
term, I shall refer to the mysterious weapon as the heat ray.
Up your nose when you love the Happy New Year.
I'm here live. I'm not a cat.
Well, no, ad horse divorce, but you picked a weird time to hop on the spider train. This is previously on Peter Parker's, The Spectacular Spider-Man. Spider-Man 2002. Hang on. Let's be completionists here. These are the Spider-Men we won't be discussing. You got your Turkish Spider-Man, Japanese Spider-Man, fan film Spider-Man, TV movie Spider-Man, both Venom movies. Look, I know it's connected, but please no. Endless cartoon adaptations of varying quality, and the greatest Spider-Man adaptation of them all, Broadway Spider-Man.
That you can rise above.
Actually, really, the best is Into the Spider-Verse. We're just doing the other ones. Okay, 2002's Spider-Man, starring the villain from Molly's Game as Peter Parker, half of the team that exposed Watergate as Mary Jane Watson, and as Harry Osborn, Peter's rich best friend and Mary Jane's boyfriend, this guy. Co-starring a lot of 27-year-olds playing teenagers, and as J. Jonah Jameson, it's the only person alive who should ever be cast as J. Jonah Jameson.
I'll make him infamous.
Listen, you know how this story goes. Boy is bitten by a spider, gains slamming bod, loses Uncle Ben, maintains beloved aunt. But director Sam Raimi makes a few subtle changes from the comics, like that instead of being a boy genius who invents webbing and his own web shooters, Peter Parker is a boy genius whose webbing comes from a very special place, the disgusting Cronenbergian holes in his wrists.
Saying I'm an insect who dreamt he was a man.
Now, Harry's father is Norman Osborn, the Green Goblin, played by Willem Dafoe, turned up to 11,000. He's a billionaire industrialist, doing what billionaire industrialists always eventually get around to doing. Getting ripped, rampant property damage, and writing things that make you look super cool and not CGI at all. The Green Goblin's first dastardly deed was disrupting World Unity Day that featured something the entire world could truly unite behind back in 2002. Outdoor Macy Gray concerts.
Baby, I know we had a bad day.
Hey, remember this? Now, in the end, there's a nod to a famous scene from the comics. The Green Goblin self-owns, Harry blames Spider-Man, Peter puts himself into the friend zone, and we were all treated to a really kickin' soundtrack that spawned an iconic hit single everyone still loves and that you won't have stuck in your head on your way home tonight.
When they say that a hero can save us, I'm not gonna stand.
2004's Spider-Man 2 brings back the cast and adds the terrifying drug lord from Boogie Nights, Alfred Molina, as the good-natured and kind scientist Otto Octavius. Octavius has developed a set of artificial intelligence-driven mechanical arms tapped directly into his brain, and surely nothing bad could possibly happen. Otto, we didn't deserve your beautiful mechanical arms. Now, meanwhile, Harry's being a real buzzkill because of course he is. Mary Jane about to marry an astronaut because of course she is. And Peter losing his mojo and questioning whether Spider-Man should even be around anymore. In the end, we see how shredded Toby really is. He goes crowd surfing. Doc Ock sacrifices himself for the greater good. Harry finds out about Peter. Mary Jane finds out about Peter. And even though he's like the worst parts of Roman Roy and Cousin Greg combined, your boy Toby gets the girl. Spider-Man 3, 2007. Director Sam Raimi wanted to make a movie with the Sandman. The Sandman. Sony wanted him to make a movie about Venom, and Spider-Man 2 left off with a vengeful Harry raiding his dad's man cave, set to become the next Green Goblin. Which villain to pick? Let's do all three. So you got Lowell from Wings playing Sandman, a career criminal whose DNA gets infused with sand because comic books were once made for kids. You got Topher Grace playing photographer Eddie Brock, who's always out to stick it to Peter.
Parker, you are such a Boy Scout. When are you going to give a guy a break?
And you got Harry, who's been hitting his dad's sauna. But hey, let's add more characters. How about instead of a blonde actress playing a redhead, we have a redhead playing a blonde character, Gwen Stacy. So lots of things are happening. Turns out Sandman may have been involved in Uncle Ben's murder. Harry is blackmailing Mary Jane into breaking up with Peter, and also he has a really punk rock scar. And an alien parasite infects Peter, giving him bonus powers, a hairstyle that's just severe, and a new fashion sense, and actually I really love him like this in retrospect. Also, obviously, this is something that happens. Peter sheds the black suit, which finds an ally in Eddie Brock, creating Venom, who teams up with Sandman to take down Spider-Man. Harry and Peter patch things up right before Harry bites it. Venom gets Topher disgraced. Sandman not so bad, it's just dust in the wind, and Peter gets in one last dance with Mary Jane.
Last dance with Mary Jane. One more time to kill the pain.
From director Mark Webb, it's 2012's reboot, The Amazing Spider-Man. Now, the movie retells Spider-Man's origin, but adds in a mystery about Peter's parents that it's gonna completely get resolved to your satisfaction. Starring the less terrifying co-founder of Facebook as Peter, LA Land star Emma Stone as Gwen Stacy, Sally Field as a younger Aunt May who's still got it, and Spike from Notting Hill as another animal, scientist Kurt Connors, whose experiments turn him into the lizard. His powers are... he's a lizard. So in this version, Peter doesn't have weird oozing holes in his wrist, but he does do a lot of skateboarding and parkour. Remember parkour? As for the rest of the movie, I don't remember. 2014's The Amazing Spider-Man 2, giving us more background on the intriguing mystery surrounding the death of Peter's parents, a plot thread that's barreling towards resolution. It's gonna be so worth it, guys. It adds Peter's friend, Harry Osborn, who turns into the Green Goblin because that's just what he's supposed to do.
Harry, what did you do?
What you made me do.
And Jamie Foxx as Electro, who gets his powers thanks to genetically engineered electric eels, which is somehow a weirder origin than the comic book version.
I don't know what's going on with me. I can see that. I believe you.
And as if we don't have enough villains, Paul Giamatti as...
I am the Rhino! Look, New York! Spider-Man is back!
Oh, there he is. And yes, for those of you keeping score, that's 2 actors from Sideways who have played Spider-Man villains. Sandra Oh as Black Cat, confirmed. And in the end, well, it's not a Spider-Man series without this scene.
Stay with me, stay with me. Stay with me, stay with me. You stay with me.
So while all this is going on, the Marvel Cinematic Universe starts becoming a big deal. And the folks over there sure do wish they still had the rights to Spider-Man. Meanwhile, Sony disagreed for the most part. Fortunately for them, when there's a complex legal agreement, there's a way.
To the recent Sony Pictures hacking, we're now learning that talks between Sony and Marvel's parent company, Walt Disney, did in fact happen.
Oh, Mr. Parker. So the Amazing Spider-Man series was closed, and we're introduced for the 3rd time this century to Peter Parker and his elderly Aunt May. Retroactually, Peter debuts in Iron Man 2 as this terribly irresponsible kid, but we really meet him first in Captain America Civil War, where his subplot boils down to a billionaire decides to prove he can be a responsible superhero by convincing a child to accompany him to Germany without telling his guardian. That brings us to Spider-Man Homecoming, the start of the 3rd new Spider-Man film series of the millennium. Directed by cop car director John Watts, it resets Peter as a high school student who dreams of being an Avenger like his idol Tony Stark, who has given Peter some upgraded duds and encouraged him to be a friendly neighborhood Spider-Person. Meanwhile, following up on the aftermath of the Battle of New York from back in the Avengers, we meet Adrian Toomes, aka the Vulture, a bad Birdman, played by Michael Keaton, who is both a Batman and a Birdman. By the end, Spider-Man gets a fancy new suit and the opportunity to join the Avengers, which Peter declines because he's a child.
I'd rather just stay on the ground for a little while. Friendly neighborhood Spider-Man.
Spider-Man's next stop at the MCU was the little scene Avengers Infinity War, where he once again follows Tony Stark all the way to an alien planet where, you know... Folks, he's not real. That takes us to the end of Avengers Endgame. You've all seen Avengers Endgame. Moving on. 2019 Spider-Man Far From Home, the epilogue to Marvel's 3rd phase, where we find that even though the blip took out 50% of the universe's population at random, conveniently, Peter and his primary supporting cast all blip together. So what do you do when you've done nothing for 5 years? You take a vacation with your cool hand-me-down glasses from Uncle Tony that are basically Siri if Siri had access to murder drones, and I'm not comfortable with that.
EDITH stands for Even Dead, I'm the Hero. Tony loved his acronyms.
Also, Nick Fury's constantly in Peter's business as if he doesn't know other people.
I mean, I'm just a friendly neighborhood Spider-Man, sir.
Bitch, please, you've been to space.
But Peter's in Europe with his best pal and the girl of his dreams, and who do you inevitably meet while traveling around Europe? Jake Gyllenhaal, who's a superhero named named Mysterio, from an alternate universe where Mysterio would be a cool superhero name. Yada yada yada, Mysterio dies in the end, but not before setting Peter up for the biggest double whammy cliffhanger Marvel's done so far.
Here's the real blockbuster. Brace yourselves, you might want to sit down.
Spider-Man's name is Peter Parker. What the f***?
Okay, Spider-Man No Way Home begins exactly where we left off, as the only man who should ever play J. Jonah Jameson delivers like an InfoWars-style broadcast in Times Square, Zendaya's husband completely doxxed. Granted, he's never been great at concealing his identity, but the cat's out of the bag now, and no one is being normal about it. In addition to throwing his entire personal life into crisis mode, the revelation of his secret identity wrecks his ambitions to go to MIT, and Ned and MJ also get caught in the whole reputation-based collateral damage. But Peter isn't above seeking help from his super friends, and a wizard Dracula-shaped light bulb appears in Peter's mind, concerning a wizard who once fought Dracula. Now, Peter enters the Snow Bunny Sanctum Sanctorum and begs Doctor Strange to perform a voodoo curse to unstabilize the space-time continuum to make everyone forget that he's actually Spider-Man. In a demonstration of some incredibly dubious decision-making, Doctor Strange agrees. Now, keep in mind, Doctor Strange is an adult. Why does he do this? Would he buy booze for a minor too? Did he get bonked on the head? Is he going through a midlife crisis? He is. But is he just bored and feeling a little naughty and dangerous? Play with the space-time continuum? Who but Kevin Feige knows? But in the middle of the spell, Pete gets wish anxiety and complicates it in a just incredibly dumb direction. A rip in the fabric of reality ensues, allowing previously existing versions of intellectual property to travel between collapsed franchises on the cosmic wind of fan service, and we're here for it.
Hello, Peter.
A stressed-out Doctor Strange teleports Peter back to the Sanctum Sanctorum for an exposition dump about how the spell actually caused some lucrative brand synergy, and demands a wacky, spooky cleanup from Pete and his pals.
Scooby-Doo this shit!
I know a couple of magic words myself, starting with the word please.
Now, Peter hunts down the actors who are reprising their roles from past Spider franchises, including Jamie Foxx's Electro and the Sandman, played by our own favorite Napa boy, Thomas Hayden Church. He even gets an easy villain catch after a confused Green Goblin, played by our friend Defoe, shows up at Aunt May's Mutual Aid Foundation. Peter takes the Green Goblin to the torture dungeon in the Sanctum Sanctorum for a memory jogging sesh, only to discover in a tease for Marvel Zombies that some of these guys have actually died in the other movies. Now, Doctor Strange reveals that a magic box he made will send them back home to their fate of certain death, and Peter declares his unwillingness to play multiversal executioner. So a magic fight ensues, bouncing between out-of-body experiences, MC Escher-style fractal dimensions, slightly disappointing acid trips, and the popular video game Portal. Peter wins with the power of math and webbing. He steals Doctor Strange's magical brass knuckles, trapping him in the funhouse dimension so Peter can perform supervillain therapy in peace. Like a modern-day Da Vinci, Pete uses a machine fabricator to create magical mechanical cure-alls for these evil bastards. However, at the cusp of the work's completion, the Green Goblin personality interferes in everyone's recovery process and causes a hard relapse. The subsequent fallout leads to a mass villain escape and, tragically, the death of Aunt May via a goblin bomb. I guess every Peter needs a freshly dead uncle or beloved aunt to profoundly alter their sense of purpose. And this time it's Aunt May who delivers the famous line.
You have power, and with great power, there must also come great responsibility.
And I gotta say, even at the end, still got it. Still had it, still got it, will always have it.
How's your aunt?
Yeah, she's alright.
Oye, la tía de una italiana que está buenísima.
Así. ¿Cómo está tu hija, eh?
Ned manages to spark up the brass knuckles to do some franchise magic and summon Andrew Garfield and Tobey Tugboat Maguire. The two Spider alumni immediately try to big dog each other before realizing an alliance is probably the better path. They seek out Zendaya's husband at the top of the high school, and a Spider-Man grief therapy session ensues.
She told me that with great power comes great responsibility. Wait, what? How do you know that?
The Peters three hatch a plan to fix these jive turkey bad guys once and for all, using more scientific cure-alls, Ned's new knuckle skills, spider tech, and manipulation of the right-wing grifter media. The spider trap now set, the three Petes give each other a pep talk and compare their bodies like pubescent boys.
Oh, no, he's not teasing you, it's just that we can't do that, so naturally we're curious as to how your web situation works. That's all.
But if it's personal, I don't want to pry, but I just think it's cool.
I wish I could tell you, but it's like I don't do it. I don't do breathing. Breathing just happens.
Whoa.
Does it just come out of your wrists, or does it come out of anywhere else?
Then Electro appears to begin the star-studded climax. After some initial sloppy coordination, the Peters three focus up, give each other call signs, share the love.
I love you guys.
Then swing through the air at a Spider-Man-themed Cirque du Soleil act, all landing in a cool tableau.
We can't move.
We're in a tableau.
So we get down to the normal, the Marvel CGI battle that seems to end all these things. But in the midst of all this chaos, Ned accidentally releases Doctor Strange from the Funhouse dimension. Now, just as things are about to be wrapped up for good, the Green Goblin bombs the Magic Dimension box and a quantum crisis ensues. The reality leakage threatens to become a flood as cosmic travelers appear in the sky like demonic angels. Peter, blinded by rage, nearly kills the Green Goblin for this devilish trick, but his counterparts tell him, if you just let him go back to his dimension, he'll die anyway. Doctor Strange informs Peter that the only way to stop the threads of reality from ripping asunder is for everyone to forget who he is entirely.
You gotta understand, that would mean that everyone who knows and loves you, we'd have no memory of you.
In a truly heroic move, Peter agrees to self-imposed cosmic loneliness, and Doctor Strange holds the reality rip together just long enough for Pete to say his sayonaras. Everyone forced to go sawing out of there, but Peter is left as an anonymous, penniless Spider Bachelor. But with great power comes great responsibility, and Spider-Man vows to continue his mission for truth, justice, and the Spider-American way. He spies on his friends at Christmas time, really soaking in the melancholy of the season, and then he gets back to work. Does a swing dance formation over 30 Rock to the sounds of the Christmas episode of SNL.
It's Saturday Night Live!
So what does the MCU hold for Zendaya's husband next? Will he find a path back to being remembered by his loved ones? Will Ned become the Sorcerer Supreme? Will MJ finally get to see some good tennis? Will Doctor Strange apologize? Will Telemachus ever get rid of these f***ing suitors already? What are the residual checks going to be like in the Zendaya household this year? We'll get ready to find out. It's the first MCU Spider-Man movie in 5 years, so anything is on the Spider table. Or Spider Tableau. I don't know. Enjoy the film.
He arrives just in time. Spider-Man, Spider-Man, friendly neighborhood Spider-Man. Welcome fame, he's ignored. Action is